what we have another idea of love here. Balthazar. Balthazar. He says to Romeo. Romeo tells Balthazar, I want you to wait outside of the tomb for me, because Romeo is gonna kill himself and he doesn't want Balthazar to stop him. And he says, I'll be gone, sir, and not trouble you. And Romeo says, so shalt thou show me friendship. Take thou that, live and be prosperous, and farewell, good fellow. Then Balthazar says, in an aside, means Romeo cannot hear him, for all the same, I'll hide me hereabout. His looks I fear, and his intents I doubt. This is a type of love called filial love. Filial love is when you are devoted to your master. Kind of love, if we have a king and I love my king, it's a filial love. Or I respect my general, that's a filial love. It's almost like the love between a father and a son. It's a new kind of son love, but it's similar to the love between Romeo and Friar Lawrence. That's called paternal love. We have all these different kinds of love in this play, so many different types of loves. So, okay, Romeo is going to go to the tomb, but then he sees Paris at the tomb, and Romeo at this point is a very fierce character. He is changed into his contrary. He is not a fighter, but Romeo doesn't know how to fight, but look at Romeo now. This is what he says to Balthazar. I will tear you. Let me just find this. What a fierce guy. Is he still a lover or he is a fighter? He seems to be a fighter. He tells Paris, stay away from me. And Romeo says in line 70, will thou provoke me? Then have at me, boy. So, and then this stage direction tells us they have a fight and Romeo is changed. He's changed so much. And he stabs Paris and kills him. Now we have another death. Mercutius died, Tybaltus died, Paris is dead, and two of them at the hands of Romeo. And Romeo goes down into the tomb and he sees Juliet. So it's Act 5, Scene 3. He sees her lying there and he thinks that she's dead. So when he says, oh, my love, my wife, it's kind of a weird scene because keep in mind, Juliet's dead. This is her dead body. And what does Romeo do? He kisses her dead body. It's very spooky scene, right? Very spooky, like a horror movie, almost. And what he says, and this line goes back to the personification of death. This is line 103. He says that unsubstantial death is amorous. He's depicting death here as like a lustful creature, like a creature that has sex with dead people. Pretty gross. And that's the lean aboard monster keeps thee here in dark of the paramour. It's like a mistress. For fear of that I still will stay with thee with worms that are the chambermaids. Very spooky scene in this dark kissing the dead body and death and worms, and we can imagine how the audience feels so scared of what's going to happen because the audience knows. We know Juliet is not dead, and we fear what is Romeo going to do. And will Juliet wake up? But we know she won't because the chorus told us that she will die. And then Romeo drinks the drink and the stage direction tells us he dies. That's the fourth person to die. Following this, suddenly Balthazar runs there, Friar runs there, all the people run to Juliet's grave because Friar told them that she's not dead. We're clear on that. And then Juliet wakes up, so horrible. She wakes up to see that Romeo is lying next to her. How does she feel? Here's what she says. What's here? A cup? Closed my true love's hand, poison I see. Has been his time must end. O churl, drunk all, and left no friendly drug to help me after. I will keep thy lips. Happily some poison yet doth hang on them. So she kisses his lips, hoping there is poison there, but there is not. But then what happens? She grabs a dagger. Oh, happy dagger! this is thy sheath, and this is Romeo's dagger, and then she stabs herself. This is the climactic moment in the play. And think about it. They got married just a few days before. That night, Juliet was calling for Romeo to come so they can be together on their wedding night. He can't come. He was banished. When do they finally get together? Romeo's dead, and she stabs herself. It's that consummate scene of their wedding night, and that happened in death. This is their death drive, the unity in death at the end of the play. It's very powerful, I think, the scene. Well, all the other people rushing, and they're, oh my God, what's going on? Paris is dead, Romeo's dead, Julian's dead, so all those dead bodies, what happened here? And this is the line where Uncle says, one of the watchmen says, 179, he says, we see the ground of the dead people left, but the true ground of all these piteous woes we cannot without circumstance describe. So it's the same question that we were asking. How did all this happen? What's the cause of all this? This idea continues. The prince says, till we can clear these ambiguities, till we can find out and know their spring, so their source, their head, their true descent, then will I be general of your woes. So the prince is, how did that happen? Now we have a scene very similar to when Tybalt was killed by Romeo, a mock trial. Last time that was Balthazar who told us everything that happened. This time is Friar Lawrence, and he has a lot of many 260 lines. He tells us everything that happened, the whole play, the letter didn't arrive, everything. And then the prince says, I need more testimony. So Balthazar comes and, yes, I heard everything. And the prince says, this is the trial again. And the prince is going to make his verdict once more. And he says in line 1290, where be these enemies, Capulet, Mantique? See what a scourge is laid upon your hate. This is when we're getting to the source of the problem, the ancient grudge. That heaven finds means to kill your joys with love, and I for winking at your discords too. Princess, it's my fault as well. You too had this grudge, and I've been letting it slide all this time, and look what happened. This is what happened. We've lost a lot of people, and who is punished? Romeo is punished. Romeo is banished. But this time, he says, all are punished. So indeed, they all are. Now, when Romeo and Juliet and all of them are punished, Lady Montague has killed herself over her son's death. That's 5 people dead. But the people who are still alive, they're punished too because they know it's their fault. And Capulet says, oh, brother Montague, give me thy hand. The ancient grudge seems to be over. This is my daughter's jointure, for no more can I demand. And Montague says back to him, these long-hated enemies, I can give thee more. And then he says he will make a statue of Juliet all in gold as a gift. So the play ends with the prince speaking, and the prince has the final voice in the play. He is the ultimate judge in the play. And look at the last 2 lines. He says, for never was a story of what war than this of Juliet and her Romeo. What I like about that final thought is look how inverts everything to the contrary. It's supposed to be Romeo and Juliet, but the final line is inversion, Juliet and Romeo, and that's where I can transition. And let's think about what would I write about in an essay if I wrote about Romeo and Juliet. So in my classes, when we read something and we talk, the students usually write essays. And this is one essay topic that you can try for yourself. Is Juliet the main character of the play? Is Juliet the tragic figure? And if so, what does it say about the play? We think that it's all about Romeo, but maybe it's really all about Juliet. and that's what's usually not thought about. Another idea is we can look at the dichotomies in the text, like for example, like in darkness or young and old. You take those two ideas and you see what's going on with those two aspects in the text, what's being communicated between them. The last idea you can write an essay about would be some of the tragic elements you learned from this class. From Aristotle that we learned in the very first lesson. Now you can go through, does Romeo and Juliet follow the classical model that was set by Aristotle? I highly recommend that you try some of those essays, and that will help you not only about the play, but that you can write it a wonderful essay. And thank you for watching me.